friends, welcome to the lecture number 3. Today we will discuss about methods of charging. So basically a neutral body can be charged using two processes. One by touching the bodies, one without touching the bodies. Okay, without touching the bodies. So using these two we can charge a body. Okay, now if you are not going to touch it, what you are going to do? You have to rub the two bodies. So by rubbing, touching means by rubbing. Okay, the without touching is, it is process is induction, electrostatic induction. That means you induce the charges. Okay, so first we will read about rubbing the two bodies. Okay, so first one we will read about rubbing the two bodies. So it is a well-known fact that if we rub two bodies, rub two bodies, to neutral bodies rather, to neutral bodies, they get charged up. They get charged up. Okay. So if they are getting charged up, that one of the body will be positively charged, the other body will be negatively charged. Okay. So let me make a table here for proper understanding. This is the positive charge. This is the negative charge. Okay. Now for example, I am taking a glass rod and a silk cloth. I will take a glass rod and I will take a silk cloth and I will rub with each other. Then it is found that the glass rod will be positively charged and the silk cloth will be negatively charged. Okay, just by rubbing. And this happens because of one phenomena, that is called friction. This basically happens because of due to friction. Okay, this happens due to friction. Now suppose I took a cat skin and ebonite rod, then the cat skin will develop a positive charge and the ebonite rod will be negative charge. Okay. Similarly, if I take woolen clothes and umber rod, so woolen cloths will develop positive charge and the umber rod will have negative charge. So this is how we can charge two different neutral bodies, and this basically happens because of rubbing, and it which is responsible, friction of the two bodies is responsible for this kind of charging. Okay, now after this, instead of going to this induction process, I will define few things like conductor. I would like to define conductors for you. Now this conductors you will read in detail in chapter number 3. So for the definition sake, I am telling what conductors are. So these the substances, the substances through which electric charges can flow easily, so these are your conductors. Then what about insulators? Insulators are just the opposite, the substances through which electric charges cannot flow. Electric charges can't flow easily. And the third one which I want to introduce, that is very important, it is called EARTHING, earthing. So everybody must be knowing it, that while constructing a house, outside our house we dig a pit inside which we put some salt, cow dung and all those things to make earthing. Now what is this earthing? Okay, so this is actually to protect the excess amount of charges which comes to our house because of lightning and all that, so that we can be saved, and as well as the electronic instruments can be saved. So basically earthing is the process in which a body shares its charges with the earth is called grounding or earthing. So let us try to understand pictorially what it actually means. Okay. So let me take a conductor where it is having an excess of positive charges. I have excess of positive charges. What we do? We basically ground it. So once we ground it, what will happen? Earth is a huge source of electrons. So electrons from the earth will move to the conductor in this direction and it will neutralize the body. Okay. If electron moves up, then what will be the current direction? This will be the current direction. Is it clear? So now after this, suppose I am having a body which is having excess amount of negative charges. This also I will earth. This body will also be earthed. So what happens here? The excess electrons which are present in the body, it will enter the earth, and we know earth is a big reservoir of electrons. So any amount of excess electron it enters, there is no problem to it. If electron goes down, then what will be the current direction in this case? It will be up. Okay. So this is the way by which you can earth and you can remove the excess amount of positive charge or negative charges. A common question comes at this point as a 1 mark question in the exam. It asks a metal rod held in hand. You are holding it. Okay. Held in hand and rubbed with wool, okay, doesn't develop any charge. Why? Okay. Just now I told you, if two neutral bodies are being rubbed, then they will be charged up. But this metal rod is neutral one and this wool is also neutral one. We are rubbing it, but still it is not happening. Why is it so? A very simple answer to this is human body. Your human body is a good conductor. It's a good conductor. Okay. Good conductor of electricity actually. Okay. So any charge developed on the metal rod will be transferred to the earth. Through whom? Through human body. Okay. So after this we will go to the second process. What is that process? It is your induction. Okay. So it is electrostatic induction. That means two bodies will be charged up but they will not touch each other. So now let's give a heading this as electrostatic induction. And remember, here the bodies are not going to touch each other. They will not touch. Okay. So looking into the definition of this electrostatic induction, it is the phenomenon of temporary electrification of a conductor. That means it is not permanent. Conductor in which opposite charges appears at its closure end and similar charges appear at its farther end in the presence of or nearby charged body. So that might confuse you. So for this, let me take an example. Let me take an example and I'll explain you what happens here. So what happens in this case, for the first example, let us assume that we have to charge a metal sphere positively without touching it. Okay, so basically you are given with a neutral sphere, it is given, and you have to charge it to positive charge, okay, and without touching. So let us see how we can do it. Okay, so first we took a neutral sphere. This is a neutral sphere we took. Okay, after that what we did is, near this neutral sphere we brought a body. We didn't touch it, we'll just bring a body which is negatively charged. So because of this negative charged body which I brought near the neutral sphere, you will see positive charges get developed in this side of the sphere and the negative charges developed here. So segregation of charges takes place. Okay, then in the next step what we do, that same this rod is kept near the metal sphere, and what we do is, this sphere, this side will be positive charge, the other side of the sphere is being earthed. If it is being earthed, what happens? The excess electrons which are present in the right hand side of the sphere, they will be entering to the earth. Okay, then what happened? In the next step, the same rod is kept near the body metal sphere, and the earthing portion is being detached. So what we find? We will find only positive charges present in one side of the metal sphere. Okay, then finally what we do, we will remove the rod, and what we observe now the positive charges which were confined on this side, they will be distributed throughout the body. Okay, so without touching, we started with what? We all started with a neutral body, and what we are getting? We are getting a body which is positively charged. Okay, so this is possible because of electrostatic induction. Okay, now these positive charges which got created finally, these positive charges are called as your induced charge. Okay, and what is this rod called as? This rod is called as, the charge in that particular rod is called as your inducing charge. Okay, so we started with a neutral body and ended up with a positively charged body just by bringing an induced charge, that is a negative induced charge we brought. Okay, so this is one of the examples which comes in this exam also. The question is that you are given with a neutral sphere, how can you convert it to a positively charged body? Let us now intensify this example. Let us go to a higher version of this. Second example I will tell. Okay, so what it is telling you, that you will be given with two spheres. Okay, you will be given with two spheres will be given to you. And at the end what you should get? You should get a positively charged body and a negatively charged body. Okay, one of these spheres will be positive, the other sphere will be negative. So how to start with? So two spheres of this form are given to you, they are in contact with each other, neutral bodies. Now what you do is, let us bring a rod which is positively charged. So this is positively charged rod, I brought near it. Then what happened? These are the two spheres which are close to each other. You'll see, because of the presence of the positive rod, the negative charges get induced here, and this side you will see some positive charges. Okay, then what happens in the next step? We will keep the rod as it is, will just near the bodies, and we will give a very small separation we will give a very small separation to the bodies. So what happens here, you will have your negative charges, you will have your positive charges. Okay, now you next, in the next step, what you do is you simply remove the positive rod. Then what happens, there is a very small gap between them, between the two spheres. So this side will be negative and you will see this side will be positive. Okay, and finally in the final step, what you do, just separate it, the two bodies. You will see the positive charge get distributed over the body and the negative charges get distributed over the body. Okay, so we started with with two spheres, and because of this induction we got what, we got your positively charged body and negatively charged body. So a final statement I would like to make here, that from two neutral metal spheres, by the process of induction, we got oppositely charged spheres. Okay, oppositely charged spheres. So this is all about your electrostatic induction. So I hope those who have seen up to this much, you should kindly subscribe it, which will motivate me to go on adding such kind of videos every day. Okay, kindly subscribe it. In the second portion of this third lecture, I would devote to one of the particular problem which comes all the time in the exam, that is your equilibrium problem. So all of you give a heading, it is equilibrium problems. Okay, so this is very very important and comes in the entrance as well as in the CBSE questions. Okay, so let us do few problems related to this. The first problem, let me do it. So it is told that there are two charges. There is charge Q here, there is another charge Q here. So it is telling that you have to bring the third charge. You will bring the third charge Q, and where are you going to place it so that the third charge will be in equilibrium? Where are you going to place it so that the third charge will be in equilibrium? Okay, so let us solve this. We can keep this third charge either here or in the somewhere between these two. So let us assume if I am keeping my charge Q here, is it possible that the third charge will be in equilibrium? Let us see that this Q and this Q, there will be a force in this direction. The other Q and other Q, the force will be in the same direction. So this position is not at all possible. So is it on the other side? Let us see here, the force will be in this direction. Because of the first Q, second Q will also in this direction. So this is also not possible. So on the two sides it is not possible. So what is the third option? Third option is, let me keep it at here at a distance x. So because of this Q, what will be the, which will be the direction of the force? This will be the direction. Because of this charge, what will be the direction? In this direction. So both of them are in opposite, so they can get cancel each other and the third charge can be brought in equilibrium. Okay, so let us keep the charge Q at a distance x. So what will be the first force? K Q into Q divided by x square is equal to K Q into Q divided by L minus x whole square. Why? Because initially they were at a distance L. Okay, so L minus x whole square. So this gets cancelled out. So what is left out? X is equal to L minus x. So x will be equal to L by 2. So the third charge Q must be kept at the center of the two charges. Okay, L by 2. Clear? So I have to make you understand few things. Now instead of plus Q, this small q, if minus Q is brought, then also there will be no change in the position of the equilibrium. Okay. Now suppose I got a different charge Q, capital Q charge I bring. Then also there will be no change. There will be no change. So magnitude of third charge is not that much important in this particular case. Okay. So now let us do the second problem. In the second problem, what we have, that again we have got two charges. The separation between the two charges is L. One of the charges here is minus Q. One of the charges is minus 4Q. So it is asking where can I keep the capital Q so that it will be in equilibrium. So let us assume that I keep the charge Q somewhere here at a distance x. So what will be this distance? This will be L minus x. So what I can equate is k into q into capital Q divided by x square must be equal to k into 4q into capital Q divided by L minus x whole square. Okay, so this gets cancelled out. So what is left out? 4x square is equal to L minus x whole square. So you have 2x is equal to L minus x. So x is equal to L by 3. That means I have to keep my charge capital Q at a position L by 3 from minus Q, so that the third charge will be in equilibrium. So now we understood in the first case we have taken both the charges are equal in magnitude and sign also. In the second example what we took the magnitudes were different although the signs were same. Let us go to the third question, which is very important. Let us go to the third one, where we will see that the charges are will be of different sign. Okay, so let us take this example. Again we have a charge. Suppose this charge is minus q and this is plus 4q. So opposite in sign. Okay, now it tells you that where am I going to place the third charge q so that it will be in equilibrium. Okay, now let me analyze physics wise. If I am going to keep it at this somewhere between minus q and 4q, is this possible? This minus q will attract and this 4q again it will repel, both of them in the same direction. So I cannot keep this third charge between minus q and 4q. Then what are the options left for me? I can keep it on this extreme, I can keep it somewhere here, I can also keep it somewhere here. These are the two possibilities. Okay, so let us analyze case wise. So let us do the first case 1. In case 1, we will take up a picture. Suppose this is minus q and this is plus 4q. And as usual, the distance between the charges is L. So let us assume that I keep the charge q somewhere here. And this is kept at a distance x from 4q. This is the first case, let me assume. Then what equation I can form? K q 4q divided by x square will be equal to k q q divided by L plus x whole square. So this all gets cancelled out. So what is left out? It will be 4 by x square is equal to 1 by L plus x whole square. Okay, so if I simplify, I will have 4 L plus x whole square is equal to x square. 2L plus x is equal to x. So what becomes? X will be equal to how much? Minus 2L. So minus 2L means what? Your x has to be minus 2L. So I have to go in which direction? Towards the right of this, or I have to move in this direction. Okay, I have to move in this direction because it is minus. Okay, so this is the first case. Let us see the second case, what happens, then we will draw a conclusion. In case 2, so let me take the picture as usual. This is the charge, here it is minus q, here it is 4q. Let us assume that the third charge which is given to me, that is capital Q, it is somewhere kept, I've kept it somewhere here. This distance is x, this is L. So what equation I can form? K q capital Q divided by x square is equals to kq 4q divided by L plus x whole square. Okay, so this simplifies. 4x square will be equal to L plus x whole square. So 2x will be L plus x. So x is equal to L. So x is equal to plus L means from this side it will be, again we are approaching in which direction? We are approaching in this direction only. So x is equal to minus 12 and x is equal to L. What position it actually tells you? It tells you it should be in this side. It cannot be in this side because it is minus 12. Okay. So this has to be on the left hand side of minus q. Okay. So a very important conclusion you can draw from these three problems, and this can be used as a shortcut while solving problems and to check whether you have done it correctly or not. So what is the final answer? The final answer will be x is equal to L or x is equal to minus 12. And which picture is correct? The first picture or the second one? It is the second one. That means it has to be kept on the left hand side of minus q charge. So what notes can I make here? Very two important notes I can make. First one, that when we have charges of opposite sign, comma, the equilibrium point is towards the smaller charge. This is very, very important. Okay. And what second implication I can find? If the charges are of same nature, then what will happen? The equilibrium point is in the middle of the two charges. Okay. So I hope you have understood this one. I request that if you have any queries, then you can send me your queries through my email ID, which is being shown below. Kindly like this video. Okay. And this is all for the lecture number 3. Thank you for your kind patience.